This is Google's new Pixel 7, and while we've known quite a bit about it since it was clearly revealed back in May at Google I/O, we now have all the details that we've been waiting for on Google's latest hardware. So let's talk about what Google has delivered with this Pixel 7 and some thoughts I have about this phone after a few days of use. I thought after all the press Pixel 7 has had, there'd be no need to discuss its design, right? I mean, we've seen it in countless photos at this point, and the truth is the aesthetics Google's employing on these new phones isn't wildly different from the Pixel 6 or Pixel 6 Pro that came before. But getting my hands on the Pixel 7 actually made me reconsider these thoughts almost immediately. If you recall, last year as I struggled between the larger, sleeker, more flagship-esque look and feel of the Pixel 6 Pro and the decidedly more old-school aesthetic of the Pixel 6, I ended up going with the Pixel 6 for quite some time because I felt it better held on to the design cues of Google's past phones. I wasn't quite yet comfortable seeing a Google phone with the fit and finish of the Pixel 6 Pro, and it just took me some time to get used to it all. This year, there won't be any struggle with those types of decisions, as the Pixel 7 feels far more like the Pixel 6 Pro than it does like the Pixel 6. There are small differences in overall design between these two new models, but there's no doubt that the more pristine Pixel DNA that came along with the Pixel 6 Pro last year is now part of the Pixel 7, and I'm really loving it. The side rails and camera surround are all matte finish, and if I'm being blunt, I like it better than what we have on the Pixel 6 and 7 Pro. Shiny sides are fine, but I really like the powdered finish on the Pixel 7. Like, a lot. The glass back, the flat glass front, and overall attention to detail don't feel like the Pixels of old any longer. The Pixel 7 is 100% new school Google, and I like it. The screen comes in at 6.3 inches with a 1080p plus resolution, but this year's iteration looks a bit more vibrant to my eyes. You still get the 90 Hz refresh, and I still tend to like flat screens versus curved ones, so I really like the look of the Pixel 7 when I hold it in my hand, and it just feels like a smaller version of the Pixel 7 Pro this time around, rather than feeling like some completely different device like we saw with the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro. Versus the Pixel 6, the Pixel 7 is a bit more compact too, giving those looking for a smaller Pixel a better option this time around. On the inside, there's Tensor G2, 8 gigs of RAM, and either 128 or 256 gigs of storage. Alongside that, there's a 4,355 milliamp hour battery inside that should provide some decent longevity compared with the Pixel 6. Last year's phone did have a bigger battery technically, but the Tensor G2 should be far more efficient, so it should be interesting to actually see what real-world battery consumption is going to be like over the coming weeks. Pixel 7 also includes a dual rear camera assembly with a 50 megapixel wide angle and 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, and it can record up to 4K video at 30 or 60 FPS. Around the front, it's got a 10.8 megapixel selfie camera that can also record 4K at 30 or 60 FPS this year, and slow motion up to 240 FPS. And while I am excited to see 4K available on the selfie camera this year, I'm more excited about Face Unlock that is here this year too. After using this new Face Unlock for a couple of days now, I'm really happy with the results. Though not secure enough for like banking apps, it gets your phone unlocked quickly and leaves you only having to rely on your fingerprint for the most secure items. And that fingerprint scanner feels upgraded too, as it registers far faster than what we saw with the early builds of the Pixel 6. As always, software is the star of the show with Pixel, and these new phones have quite a few great features up their sleeves, specifically in the camera department. Notably, Google showed off the new cinematic video, finally bringing portrait mode kind of blurred backgrounds to 24 FPS video. They brought big leaps in digital zoom via AI and machine learning algorithms, and the ability to unblur photos taken on any phone in your Google Photos library, Pixel or not. In my couple of days with these new phones, I can at least vouch for the results I'm getting with Unblur cinematic video and the zooming features. Unblur reliably makes older, out-of-focus photos a bit better on your eyes, and cinematic video gives you portrait mode style blurred for video, but it still kind of feels like a gimmick at this point. And the new pixel binning and machine learning for these ultra zoomed photos works incredibly well. With the Pixel 7, that means you can get up to 8x zoom with some very impressive results, though I wouldn't say it fully replicates an 8x optical lens. The cinematic video, on the other hand, is definitely a limited use feature for right now. If you stick to one person and don't move around the scene too much, it looks okay. But bouncing back and forth between subjects and moving around the room room a little bit, the effect falls apart pretty quickly and isn't honestly very usable. I reckon it'll get better over time, but for now, just stick to the video camera in its normal state, which is very good. Google has really stepped up with HDR and the quality of video on the Pixel 7, and the results are so much better than before. Dynamic range looks amazing, the audio capture is solid, and overall, taking a video on the Pixel 7 is finally beginning to approach what Apple manages to pull off with their iPhones. And on that same front, I've already noticed a huge improvement of the dynamic range and low light capabilities of the Pixel 7 when you're taking photos. While the Pixel 6 wasn't a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, the Pixel 7 takes it all to the next level with insane levels of HDR that make it so simple to properly capture any scene that you're looking at without any real setup whatsoever. The other thing I've been really happy with early on is the performance of these phones. Though Tensor G2 isn't this massive year-over-year upgrade versus the G1, one of the big improvements I'm seeing at this point is in the graphics and gaming department. Where the Pixel 6 Pro is limited to medium graphics settings with most of the games that I tend to play, the Pixel 7 lets me crank it all the way up. Apex Legends Mobile or PUBG Mobile let me push the settings to the high end of things, and performance is still fantastic. I'm really excited to be able to have a Pixel phone with all the fun photo and video features of Tensor that also lets me get along with playing the games that I want to on a high level as well. Clearly, there's a lot to be excited for with these new Pixel phones, and with the Pixel 7 keeping the same $599 starting price, it's easy to recommend for those wanting to check out the latest Pixel phones from Google. This year, it's all about refinement, and if these early looks tell us anything, it's that Google tightened up things where needed, and these could be the absolute best Pixel phones yet. But guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, head down there, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to ring the notification icon as well if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Till next time, we'll see ya.